Tinder was supposed to revolutionize dating. It did. It revolutionized rejection. Before Tinder, being rejected required effort. You had to get dressed, you had to leave the house, you had to walk across a room in front of other people who were watching, approach a stranger, say something, and then have that stranger look at you with an expression that communicated everything in under 2 seconds. That was the old rejection. That was the artisanal rejection. That was rejection with texture and consequence, and at least you burned some calories getting there. Now, you can be rejected by 97 people simultaneously while lying in bed in your pajamas eating cereal at 11 p.m. Progress. That is what progress looks like. That is the technological revolution. The flying cars and the hoverboards and the ability to be emotionally destroyed by strangers without changing out of your socks. Welcome back. This is Tinder Part 2. If you have not seen Tinder Part 1, the link is in the description. That video covered the ancient humans discovering bark profiles, the first left swipe, the first super like that required a 2-day walk, and the algorithm matching someone with a person from their own tribe who had borrowed their good flint and never returned it. None of it has improved since. Chapter 1. The Profile. The modern dating profile is humanity's most optimistic piece of ongoing fiction. It is a document built entirely on the principle that the best possible version of a moment 3 years ago represents who you are as a person right now. The photo is from that afternoon, at that angle, with that particular light that has never naturally occurred since and will never naturally occur again. You know the photo. You spent 40 minutes choosing it. It is a lie, and it is also your best work. The bio was rewritten 14 times. The first version was too long, the second was too short, the third was too eager, the fourth made you sound like a LinkedIn post, the fifth made you sound like you had never spoken to another human before. The 6th through 13th were minor variations on the 4th and 5th. The 14th version says 3 words. It says, I like to laugh. Every single profile says, I like to laugh. Not one person in the history of dating apps has ever swiped right because someone likes to laugh. Nobody reads, I like to laugh, and thinks, finally, someone who likes to laugh. I have been looking for this. The information is useless. It communicates nothing. It has been on every profile since dating apps were invented. It will be on every profile until dating apps end. It is the handprint. Nobody knows why it is there. It stays. Chapter 2. The Pickup Line Industrial Complex. At some point between the invention of language and the invention of Tinder, men collectively decided that the right combination of words would unlock human attraction like a cheat code. Find the correct sequence, enter it correctly, attraction begins. This is not how attraction works. This has never been how attraction works. This will never be how attraction works. They know this. They workshop the lines anyway. In 2026, the pickup line has reached its final form. Guys out here composing openers like they are submitting manuscripts, like this is literature, like this has ever worked. One person out here actually sent the following message to an actual stranger. You live in my heartbeat. She unmatched mid-sentence. Not after the sentence, mid-sentence. The app flagged the unmatch before he finished typing. He did not finish typing. The sentence ended at heartbeat, and so did the entire interaction. And he is somewhere right now workshopping a follow-up message for a conversation that no longer exists in any database. The other classic in 2026 is asking ChatGPT to write the opener. This is Chapter 3. Chapter 3. The ChatGPT Problem. Someone uploaded a selfie to ChatGPT and asked if they were attractive. They wanted validation. They wanted confidence. They wanted a robot to tell them something encouraging so they could feel better about approaching strangers. ChatGPT evaluated the selfie with the clinical detachment of a government form processor on a Friday afternoon and replied that the lighting was suboptimal. The angle was not ideal. The confidence appeared questionable, but overall the effort was commendable and they should continue to put themselves out there. That is not encouragement. That is a performance review from a robot that does not have skin in the game. That is emotional damage with a Wi-Fi connection. He asked again. He uploaded a different photo. He said, am I more attractive in this one? ChatGPT looked at the second photo with the same bureaucratic neutrality and said, let us not push it. Let us not push it. A robot told him, let us not push it. He is now in a conversation with a robot about his romantic viability, and the robot is gently suggesting he manages expectations. This is what we built the internet for. This is the culmination of 40 years of technological development. If you want to see where this whole AI confidence situation started, the video is linked in the description. We gave it a keyboard. It has been confidently wrong ever since. It drew a hand with 17 fingers. It would also like you to know the lighting in your selfie is suboptimal. Chapter 4. The Rejection Ecosystem. Rejection in the ancient world took 2 seconds. You said the thing, they looked at you, you understood, you left. Total elapsed time, under a minute. There was dignity in the speed. It was efficient. It respected everyone's schedule. Rejection in 2026 is a 5-stage emotional journey that takes approximately 4 days and ends in a slightly passive-aggressive Instagram story. Stage 1 is being ignored. The message was delivered, the ticks went blue, the typing indicator appeared briefly, and then disappeared. The typing indicator appearing and then disappearing is one of the most specifically devastating experiences available to a human being in the modern era, and there is not a word for it yet, because language has not caught up to the specific grief of watching someone decide not to respond in real time. Stage 2 is noticing you have been ignored. This takes approximately 40 seconds. Stage 3 is composing a follow-up message. The follow-up message is 9 sentences long. It opens with a casual, "Hey, just checking in." It escalates through several paragraphs about not wanting to be weird about it. It ends with a self-deprecating joke that is not actually funny because it was written in the specific emotional state of someone who has been left on red for 14 hours. This message is longer than the college essay that got you into university. It is sent, it is ignored. The cycle restarts. Stage 4 is telling everyone you did not even want to talk to her anyway. This is announced publicly, to friends, sometimes to the internet, as if the declaration retroactively removes the 9-paragraph follow-up from the record. It does not remove it from the record. The record exists. The message is still in the chat. Stage 5 is updating the bio. It now says, "Not here for games." Chapter 5. The Requirements. Dating in 2026 has a very simple checklist. You need the appearance of someone who exercises daily and has good bone structure. You need the humor of someone who does comedy professionally for money. You need the financial situation of someone who runs a company. You need the emotional stability of someone who went to therapy every week for 6 years and did the work. You need all 4 of these things at the same time, simultaneously. You need them in the same room, in the same body, in the same conversation, on the same date, on a Tuesday evening in a restaurant that is the right amount of expensive. Get all 4 right. All 4. Together. You will still be told your vibe is off. Nobody can explain what vibe means. Nobody can point to a vibe on a diagram. Nobody has ever successfully described what a correct vibe looks like in advance so you could prepare one. The vibe is a feeling. The feeling is wrong. The feedback is your vibe is off. The case is closed. You have 4 days to update your bio and try again. Chapter 6. The Honest Truth. Dating apps are not about finding love anymore. They are about who can perform the most convincing version of themselves for the longest consecutive period before their actual personality becomes visible. The performance is extensive. The profile is fiction. The opening message was reviewed 3 times. The first date outfit was chosen the night before and reconsidered the morning of. The restaurant was researched. The conversation topics were mentally prepared. The laugh is approximately 40% louder than the natural laugh. The interest in their job is approximately 60% more genuine than it actually is. Everything is running at a managed level of performance, and the question is not whether we like each other. The question is who runs out of performance first. 3 weeks is approximately when it happens. 3 weeks is when the performance gets expensive. 3 weeks is when the actual personality starts appearing in small doses. He stops responding within 11 minutes. She stops pretending to find the thing he does with his hands when he talks charming. Both of them were pretending. Both of them knew the other was pretending. Neither of them mentioned it. Both of them called it a connection, and neither of them knew what was real. And somehow this is what we call modern dating. It did not start here.
Cut to 200,000 BC. One ancient human is crouching behind a tree. In front of him, propped against a rock near the main trail, is a piece of bark. On the bark is a drawing of his face. The face in the drawing has a stronger jawline than his actual face. The mammoth beside the face in the drawing is larger than any mammoth he has ever caught. The mammoth in the drawing has an extra tusk. He does not know what gravitas means because language does not exist. He added the tusk anyway. The bark is propped at the best angle. He tidied his hair before hiding behind the tree. He has been hiding behind the tree for 45 minutes. Someone walked past the bark. They looked at it for 2 seconds. They pushed it over without breaking stride. The bark made a small sound when it hit the ground. A very quiet sound. He was the quietest sound in the world and somehow also the loudest sound he has ever heard. He waited until the person was gone. He walked over. He propped it back. He adjusted the jawline. He added more definition to the mammoth. He went back behind the tree. He has been on Tinder for 11 minutes and he has already edited his profile twice. Nothing has changed in 200,000 years.
Not the jawline enhancement, not the mammoth exaggeration, not the hiding behind the tree, not the performing and the pretending and the bio rewritten 14 times and the opener workshopped for an hour, not the 5-stage rejection journey, not the vibe being off, not the bio ending up saying, "Not here for games." Not one single thing. The bark is heavier than it looks. It always has been, it always will be. If you made it this far, you are clearly someone who has felt the specific devastation of watching a typing indicator appear and then disappear, and you are coping by watching animated ancient human content, and Mr. Paint completely understands and also deeply respects this choice. Hit subscribe because the link to part 1 is in the description, and if you watch both back to back, you will feel very seen, and also slightly hopeless about the entire history of human romantic endeavor, which is the correct feeling to have about this topic. Subscribe before the algorithm matches you with someone who borrowed your good flint and never returned it. They are out there. They are still on Tinder. Their bio says, "I like to laugh."